Welcome to the K-Files today. Hey, JP.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
Glad to have you this morning and glad to have all of y'all watching this morning. You know, all the time we're finding out how many people watch us, you know? It's like every week we have new people that's not new, they've been watching a while, but we find out that they are viewers and we are so happy to hear that. So we're going to have a hot and now this morning and then we'll go into some cases and talk about various, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, it really is in the political world. So anyway, we had a case in Woodfield, I believe it was Woodfield Drive, in Nashville that was a little bit interesting. You don't hear of a lot of trouble in that residential neighborhood. I mean, you just don't. So JP's going to read that, and it was Nashville Police Department, I believe, that responded to that.
Yes.
So we'll let JP read that.
It says here on Monday, May 6th, 2025 at approximately 6:51 p.m., the Nashville Police Department was dispatched by Nash County Communications to a residence located at 416 Woodfield Drive, Nashville, in reference to a reported shooting. Upon arrival, officers located the victim, Brandon Wallace, in the residence suffering from an apparent gunshot wound to the head. At the time of the police arrival, Mr. Wallace was still breathing. Also present in the kitchen was the suspect identified as the victim's father, Daryl Wallace. After ensuring that the residence was safe and secure, Nash County EMS transported Brandon Wallace to Wake Med in Raleigh, where he remains in intensive care. He is in critical condition. Following the execution of a search warrant and multiple interviews, the Nashville Police Department consulted with the Nash County DA's office. As a result, Mr. Daryl Wallace was charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. He was presented before a Nash County magistrate who found probable cause. He was retained in the Nash County Detention Center, and he has a court appearance scheduled for Friday, May 9th at 9 a.m. at the Nash County Courthouse. And then it just goes on to say that Nashville Police Department thanks, other responding law enforcement agencies, the county communications and things. And I apologize, it's just extremely small font.
Yeah,
I can barely read it. But
your first thought when you read this is, my first thought was, how do you shoot your own son?
I've gone through and read hundreds of comments.
Yeah.
And I will say this, in full disclosure, I don't know this gentleman.
I don't
either.
either.
I do not know his son.
I don't either.
But the gist of the comments are people that say, I know this family, I know this man, I know the son. Apparently the son has some struggles with drugs.
Yes.
He's had some struggles with abusing his parents. And again, I don't know the details for this particular incident, but apparently the abuse towards the parents has gone on for about 10 years.
Wow.
I think the parents were afraid of their son, and it sounds like they were pushed to the point that clearly he must have been afraid.
Evidently. I talked to one of the neighbors, and he said, the father is a fine man. He has been over to my house he worked for CDC. He said he has been over to my house to help me fix things before. Just, fine people. I think the mother was in real estate somehow. I don't know if she was an appraiser or an inspector or something. But anyway, so, I mean, they're nice people is what I'm getting from a neighbor. So, but the son went to college, and from what I understand, when he came back, things were different.
Yeah.
Things were different. He got into whatever he was doing, he got into that during his college days, and when he come back, he was just not the same, is the report that I got. So it's a shame. I mean, it really is. But and then another comment people said was, well, wait now, I understand if he's trying to attack you or whatever he's trying to do, why don't you shoot him in the leg, but shoot him in the head? I mean,
Well, deadly force is either justified or it's not.
yeah,
You're not, North Carolina state law does not allow you to just randomly shoot somebody in the leg
right.
as to protect yourself or out of fear. You're justified in using that weapon for deadly force purposes,
Exactly.
you know, regardless of where you shoot this person. For them to take this information before the DA, before a magistrate, for them to find probable cause, it makes me wonder on this particular night, never mind what all's been going on, what happened, what did Mr. Wallace say that caused them to bring criminal charges? Because based on the comments that I've read and based on the totality of what I had kind of envisioned, I would have assumed that charges would not be pressed.
I know. Well, we will follow this. We will see. He is still living. I mean, he is not, it did not kill him yet. He is in the hospital in intensive care, so we'll kind of follow this and let you know what's going on with this. And I'm interested to, I want to hear the probable cause. I want to hear the side of the story, but they're not letting you, that's part of the case. So, and the investigation at this point. So they're not letting us know the details that they know, which is, we understand that. So anyway, there you go. So that is a hot and now case. So a lot of people are running for election. It's time.
'Tis
Your
the
brother's
season.
running.
My oldest brother, Jerry, who I know and love, he's been like a father figure to me all my life. He is running for District 7 seat that's currently occupied by Mr. Davis. He's excited. You know, he's tossed around the idea of running for office for years.
Oh, really?
He has. He's thought about it. He's considered
Okay.
it, and you know, he's been in Boy Scouts here in East Carolina Council in Rocky Mount for forever. He was
Right.
a Eagle Scout here in Rocky Mount.
Oh, wow.
Way back in the day, before he went to college, he got his Eagle Scout. He's an electrical contractor, but Jerry knows everybody. He's a good guy. He's a fine man, and Nash County would, you know, they would greatly benefit by, you know, if they chose to elect him and send him to represent District 7 at the Nash County. Nationally, I'm, you know, partial to my brother.
Well,
But,
of course you are.
But yeah, he's it's really taken off here the past 2 weeks.
Now, he filed early because it's May and, you know, filing is, well, he really didn't file.
He did not.
You can't file yet.
cannot.
It's, when is filing? July?
That's for like municipal offices. In North Carolina, if you are collecting funds for political purposes, you have to tell the county.
Okay.
So because he had individuals wanting to contribute, he had to tell the county.
Okay.
So now he's been to the bank, he's opened up accounts, and now he's receiving funds.
Okay.
That's the only reason you have to declare it to the Board of
So he did a
Elections.
letter of intent.
That is correct.
Okay. He did a letter of intent, and he will file when?
And that will be, I believe it's like November, December.
November. Okay. Gotcha.
And the crystal ball tells me, get ready because I think there's going to be a big shakeup for other seats on the Nash County Board of Commissioners.
This is really getting interesting. I mean, it really is. Well, Sandy Robertson has put his hand in his hat in the ring to run for first congressional seat for Congress.
He is a great guy. I serve on the Nash County Executive Board with him. He is such a great guy. Love Sandy Robertson. Folks here in Rocky Mount have got an awesome mayor. He's an awesome person.
Yeah, we don't want to lose him.
Yeah, but you know, we went to his prayer breakfast.
Yes.
We enjoyed. I enjoyed
great
that.
event. It was really a
great
good event.
And you know, this is something that he does and pays for out of his own pocket, and has been doing it for
Absolutely.
years.
It's something he wanted to do. He said, I can do this. So
I wish him luck. And as a matter of fact, the District 1 congressional seat is going to be, again, the most competitive House seat in the nation.
wow.
And it will be probably the most expensive. I'm guessing 50, 75 million, maybe even $100 million for that seat.
That is incredible. Well, so there are two people that have thrown their hats in the ring, and there will be more. There will be
There
more
will.
coming up. So we'll keep close to the, keep you posted on those, and we'll have Jerry. I've already spoke to him about coming on. So we'll have Jerry, we'll have Sandy, and whoever else runs is welcome to come.
And
So-
I will tell you this, beginning tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on the Big Dog, you will have the Barnes Boys at 7 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So tune in at 7 a.m. for Fridays with the Barnes Boys. It'll be myself,
Oh my
Jerry, and
gosh.
John from time to time, but we'll
Isn't
be
that
on
something?
every Friday morning at 7 a.m.
Oh my gosh, the Barnes Boys. Well, I tell you what, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting time, a very interesting time. So, coming up. All right. Well, let's get to one of our cases this morning. We'll see which one we need to start with. It's not time to go to break quite yet, so maybe we can.
All right. We'll start right here with, I believe it was right here that yes, right here. Richard William Joyner. Richard William Joyner. This case is from December 28th, 2012. Around 9:15 p.m., Rocky Mount Police was called to 346 Paul Street in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, regarding a person who was found shot inside of a residence. Richard William Joyner, 68, was found by his nephew and a female in the den in the rear of the residence. He had been shot and he had died of his injuries prior to law enforcement arriving on the scene. 346 Paul Street, Rocky Mount, December 28, 2012, 9:15 p.m. at night.
Wow. Okay.
This next one is Quan Dion Johnson. This one is from January the 11th, 2013. We don't really have a lot of details, but officers responded to 1108 Churchill Avenue Southwest in Wilson in reference to a family member calling to report that their brother had been shot. Officers arrived and found Quan Dion Johnson deceased inside the residence. Again, that was from January 11th, 2013. 1108 Churchill Avenue Southwest in Wilson, North Carolina.
We have a lot of Wilson cases. But anyway, if you know anything about those cases, please call the number on the screen. There it is, 406-6736. You can call the Crime Stoppers, 977-1111. You can call the Wilson Police Department, Sheriff's Department, whichever. So there's $15,000 in the pot. So you can collect up to $15,000 if you give a tip. So if it pans out and if there's an arrest made. So, all right, we're going to take a break, our first break on the K-Files right after this. And welcome back to the K-Files, and we do thank John Barnes Electric for every week sponsoring the K-Files. Full service electrical company serving Rocky Mount and everywhere. You said John. He goes everywhere.
John does, yeah. John and Jerry both have done electrical work all over the United States.
Wow.
John tends to be more, you know, growing up as a child, I was made to do electrical work. I was made to do it as a child, and I was afraid of it.
Uh-huh.
You've got to be on top of your game and know what's going on, or you'll get yourself killed.
Yeah, I'm scared of electricity, I'll tell you that.
Electrocuted.
Really?
And I've always been afraid of it.
Well, you can certainly reach out to John. He's available 24/7 and voted best electrician for 2016 through 2024. Reach out to him at 442-7002 whenever you need any electrical work done. He will give you a free estimate. So a lot of people have stopped doing that.
Yeah.
They really have. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe me, get an appliance person to come to your house. See, just to give you an assessment of what's going on with your appliance. You'll find out. But anyway, he is locally, John Barnes is also locally recommended by a lot of people. So he's done work for a lot of people in our area. He really has. So
well,
anyway.
the Barnes family's been in Rocky Mount doing electrical work since 1963 when my dad went in business on Cokie Road. So
wow.
We've been around serving Rocky Mount for a long time. Let me tell you real quick what happened this past week. I keep looking at the monitor and I notice I've got some sun. So I went to the beach last week.
Okay.
So they had karaoke at the tackle box there at the Circle at Atlantic Beach.
You didn't sing.
Of course I did. Of course.
Oh,
of course.
My word.
Yes.
You didn't get somebody to film it on the phone?
Well, it's probably floating around out there. I did a song by Hank Williams, and it was good. So I had a man and a woman come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, it's J.P. Barnes. We watch you on the K-File. We watch you on the
At the beach?
At the beach, yes.
Holy cow.
Yes. Well, they're from Rocky Mount.
Yeah,
but they had spotted me and recognized me inside.
But I
and
mean,
they're like, "Oh my God, we didn't know you could sing." And
oh my gosh,
anyway,
that is
just
funny.
had a good time with him and his wife. And
well, we wish we knew where that was somewhere. We would play it.
But anyway,
that's wild that you would go out of town. And you know, we went to Disney World and saw somebody we knew one time, and I said, "Golly, can't." But yeah, it's good to know that people are watching.
Yeah.
So anyway, all righty.
All right. This next case is Brian Tariq Freeman. Brian Tariq Freeman. It's from January 18th, 2014. Brian Freeman, 15, was killed while walking to a friend's house on the 700 block of Highland Avenue in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, around midnight. When Rocky Mount police arrived, they found Brian laying in the yard at the corner of Highland and Woodland Avenue. EMS was on scene and advised that he had passed away. A 14-year-old juvenile was with Brian, and he was walking and stated that a brown or tan Toyota Camry had driven by them and that the occupant had started firing shots at them while walking. Again, this is Brian Tariq Freeman, January 18th, 2014, 700 block of Highland Avenue around midnight.
Okay, if you know anything about this case, please call. Our mission is to get people off the street. It is to solve cases. It is to give families closure. We're under the umbrella of the Twin County, what are we under the umbrella of? The K-Files, Team Cold
Yeah.
Case. I was just talking about Twin County Hall of Fame with somebody early this morning on a text, and I had Hall of Fame on my mind. But anyway, Team Cold Case is a nonprofit, and we do fundraisers, and the K-Files is a program to get the word out under that umbrella. So there you go. All righty.
And you know, talking about this case here, folks, know where your children are.
Yeah.
14, 15 years old, walking the streets of any town, of anywhere.
Yeah, it don't matter where.
A 14-year-old and a 15-year-old need to be at home.
Well, you know, the thing is, so half the cases in this book, we look at the times that they take place. It's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, and some do take place in broad daylight during the day. But the majority of these cases are late night when you should be in bed.
And you know, this is not a chunk off at anybody, because I don't know the situation here, but parenting, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I would have been terrified of my mother sneaking out of the house at 14, 15 years old.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it.
I knew better.
Yes.
But you know, folks, know where your youngins are at, who they're with,
Absolutely.
where they're going, when they're expected back, things like that.
That's exactly right. Good advice.
Bad situation.
Yes.
I got a sticky note here on this next one. This next case here is Devontae Jaquan Eberg. Devontae Jaquan Eberg. This case is from June 13th, 2014. Police officers were called to the 700 block of Branch Street in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, around 12:30 a.m. after Rocky Mount police got reports of gunfire in the area. When officers arrived, they found two people suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were taken to the hospital. Devontae Jaquan Eberg, who was 18, died at the hospital from his injuries. The other victim, a 17-year-old, was treated and released. A short time later, two other victims, ages 21 and 26, arrived at the hospital with injuries from the same incident. They were also treated and released.
Wow.
4 people shot, gunfire, June 13th, 2014. Devontae Jaquan Eberg, 18, he died. Again, 12:30. 12:30.
Wow. Isn't that something? Whoa. Okay. Another 12:30. So if
One of them,
anybody
17.
knows anything, please
Yeah.
call the numbers. And what's the address?
700 block of Branch Street.
Okay. A lot happens on Branch Street, Clark Street. I mean, there's several cases in this book, and we just had another recent case in Branch Street. So a lot of bad things happen over there in that vicinity. So anyway, if you know anything, please, you are law enforcement's best resource. So please help solve this case.
Okay, this next one is Julius Lee Brinson. Julius Lee Brinson from August 17th, 2014. Around 9:45 p.m., Halifax County deputies responded to 52 Verna Lane, Enfield, regarding to a shooting incident. After arriving, deputies located Mr. Julius Lee Brinson just inside the doorway, deceased from an apparent gunshot wound. The information provided at the time of the incident was that 4 unidentified black males kicked the door in to the residence to rob the occupants of the home.
Wow.
Again, Julius Lee Brinson, 8/17/2014, sounds like a home invasion.
Yeah,
Around
sounds like a home
9:45
invasion.
p.m., They're in Halifax.
I tell you what, there's right many home invasions in that book too. We've got right many home invasion cases. So perhaps Halifax County may do that one, hopefully.
I'll ask him about
Yeah,
this.
that would be good to know more detail about that. So if you know anything, please say something.
Now, random question.
Okay?
Have you noticed how cheap the gas is getting? I saw gas for $2.50 in Wilson yesterday.
I love it. I love it. And the eggs are a little cheaper too. But anyway, yes, the gas is going down. It's happening, y'all. It's happening.
It is. It is.
And I'm glad because people were starting to get
Anxious. They want it right now.
yes, they want it right now, and the president was saying, you know, just be patient, just wait it out, and things will be good. But people didn't want to do that. I mean, I know a Republican that very, very, very upset with, and you know, loved Donald Trump, and now he's just done a total flip-flop.
Really?
He's mad. He's really mad. His 401k went south.
Well, that loss is just on paper. It's not real unless
That's
he
right.
decides
If he
to
would
move it.
realize
Just stay
that,
calm.
Just stay calm.
And keep pushing forward.
That's exactly right.
I hope he didn't move anything around.
I don't know. I hope he didn't. But anyway,
This next case is one that we've talked about many times. We actually thought there was some movement in it here a few months ago. Commissioner Hoy Jefferson Cobb. Hoy Jefferson Cobb.
wow.
This case is from November the 11th, 2014. Hoy Jefferson Cobb, 75, was found dead in his residence on Jeffries Court in Rocky Mount. He died of multiple stab wounds to the chest, according to his death certificate. There was an open package of condoms on a bedside table. A woman's hair tie was found on the floor of the bedroom, according to an investigation report. Cobb had an acute amount of alcohol in his system, according to the autopsy's toxicology report. Robbery was not the motive, as nothing appeared to have been missing from inside the residence.
If we could just,
God,
this
I want
is
this
the
one solved
case
so
that
bad.
I have had the most phone calls about.
Yeah, me
People
too.
have called, his family members have really called me. Are they ever going to solve that case? And every time I talk to Rocky Mount, they say, we are working on it. We are working this case, but nobody will come forward, folks. Nobody will come forward. You know, there were people he knew from the Elks Lodge. He was big in the Elks Lodge. He sat around the bar at the Elks Lodge very frequently, almost daily. And I guess he would, I don't know, alternate. But anyway, Gators was one of his favorite places. And after he left Gators, that night is when he was murdered. So, somebody knows something. Somebody knows something. And I think somebody that was at Gators really, we've had a tip from someone at Gators that said that there was conversation. She heard it. She said, I overheard the conversation about some land, a land deal. So, you know, we're all thinking that it might be a female, and it could be a male. How do you know it's not a disgruntled? There's so many possibilities in this case. It could be a male that's disgruntled about, because we all know that Jeff Cobb liked women. He liked women. And so, but then he was a big landowner. The Walmart property, all of that, Cobb Corners, all of that land, and he had a lot of rental houses. I mean, he had a lot of land. It could have been a land deal that went bad. There's so many possibilities. Somebody knows something. So if you could please come forward.
My gut tells me there's at least two people that know about it. The woman that was there, in my mind, she's involved. And I don't know if it's a angry boyfriend, an angry girlfriend, an angry husband, but there's something here. I've always envisioned this case as a boyfriend or a husband tracked his girlfriend or wife to this house. Because what he was stabbed with was nothing that came from his home. So it had to have been brought.
Yeah, a
And if
screwdriver.
you pick a girl up at a bar, she didn't have this with her.
She didn't have a screwdriver.
No.
So it's just also weird how, you know, the weapon was a screwdriver and somebody was enraged.
Yes.
Because, what did they say, 17 times?
It was a lot.
14 or 17. There's the house.
And he was stabbed so violently
Yeah,
that it went slammed through him.
yeah.
A woman didn't do that.
I have
That
a
did
hard
not
time
happen.
believing that. Yeah, that did happen. Look at that. Good job, Lee.
Yeah, that's
Look at all that. I mean, there's just no way. And didn't they say they drug him
I don't
somewhere?
remember
think
that.
so. I mean, Jeff Cobb was a pretty big man. He wasn't fat. He was tall and big built. I mean, he was big built. So, I mean, you would see, I mean, he's not skinny. He was a very tall man. So,
And it could have been a jealous patron from the bar who had maybe tried to get time with the female. I mean,
Yeah.
and he stalked them and fought. I mean, there's so many it could be's.
absolutely.
The screwdriver could tell you so much about the individual. The name brand, is it a brand that's associated with an electrician? Is it a generic brand that's sold like at a Dollar General? Is it a brand that's like it? The screwdriver could tell you so much about the perpetrator.
Absolutely. He attended Trinity Lutheran Church on Winston Avenue over by Westridge. And they said he didn't show up for church. He was a regular churchgoer, and he didn't show up for church. And they felt like something was wrong. At first they thought he was sick. And I guess some of the congregation didn't see him, and then they heard, what happened. But anyway, I don't know, but I wish they could solve this case because we have had multiple family members that have called me and just the general public said, why in the world can't they solve Jeff Cobb? Well, it's because we need tips. We need tips. We need to pay you some of this $15,000 we have, and we need to pay you in cash in 48 hours. So you need to help us out. And we'll be right back on the K-Files right after this. So here we are, we're at the K-File, we're in the studio, WHIG-TV, doing the K-Files. So just a lot of 2026 is going to be, it's not the presidential, but it's going to be a very interesting state and local, especially local races.
Yes.
Watch your local races. It's going to be very interesting, but watch this year, City Council is coming up. We've got 4 that's up on the City Council here. So that's going to be interesting, considering that we've had a City Council person that has been charged with slapping, putting his fingers in her mouth, pulling her pants down, all kinds of things. Javaris Walker, J. Kelly Walker, and he says it's not true, but you know what? If you go to the magistrate, this is the unfortunate thing about society. You go to the magistrate and you allege that somebody has done something like that to you, they'll put handcuffs on you. They can do it.
I saw a trooper almost lose his job because he had a wife who hired somebody to beat her tail. She got assaulted, and I'm here to tell you, he got home from work and he said, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" She picks the phone up, calls 911. He's still in uniform, calls 911, says, "My husband just beat me." Law enforcement responded. He said, "Oh, time out, I ain't touched her. I just got," they put him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
They called the highway patrol. IA comes in. Thank God this girl had a change of heart, and they locked her up because it played out over a month. But come to
Yes.
find out, she wanted a divorce. She wanted a way out, and somebody was coaching her as to what to do. Had she not come forward and admitted that she lied, she was about to ruin this trooper's life, his career, take his house, ruin his retirement over nothing.
Over nothing.
Over.
You can be locked up over nothing. And he says, you know, it's a he said, she said.
It is.
But he thinks it will be resolved, and very soon he thinks she's going to have a change of heart, like you just said, and tell the truth, because he said, "I did not do this." It was an ex-girlfriend of his. But anyway, this is a stigma over his head, and he is running for this year. So anyway, you know, it gets interesting. He's running, TJ Walker's running. No, I'm sorry, not TJ. Richard Joyner's running, and Tom Harris is running. So we've got some council seats up for this year. And I don't know about Tarboro. I need to check on Tarboro and Nashville to see if they have any seats up. But 26 is going to be a very interesting year.
It is. Yeah.
As far as elections, a lot of
You're going to
shakeups
see
probably.
a big change, big shakeup in Nash County politics, municipal politics here in Rocky Mount, probably across the southern end of the county. And it's time for a change. It's
People
time
are
for a
tired
new
of the
direction.
status quo
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, you know. So anyway, yeah, it will be interesting times, and we'll have some more announcements. And tell Jerry he's got to come
I will.
do a show with us.
will.
He needs to appear on the K-Files.
I've had him on here once before.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
tell him to come
Quimby.
back now that he's
Yeah, my
gonna
brother
run.
Jerry. If you know him, he's either very quiet
right.
or talkative to the point I'm like, "Oh my God, is this really my brother?" And he got up the other night at the Women's Republican group and he spoke. And I was like, and
he
he
surprise
kept
you?
on and on. I was like, yeah, my brother Jerry does not, he's not a public speaker like this, but he impressed me.
Wow. Well, that's good. He's going to have to do a lot of
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
between now and next election. So anyway, he might as well get in practice. So yeah, you got to knock on a lot of doors. You got to do a lot of talking. So anyway, all right. Well, that's all for the K-Files for today. We'll see you back next week.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. And tell your wife Happy Mother's
And
Day.
if you can, I'd give anything to pick up the phone and call my mother or my grandmother. If your mother's alive, your grandmother's alive, take that moment and go see them, call them.
Yes, you better
Because
believe
one day
it.
you're not going to be able to.
That's right. And you don't get but one mother.
That's right.
So have a great day, everybody.